Wow, what a day.
Well,
I ran a 10K with mom.
I need to put in AirPods. LMAO.
Okay.
Oh, bruh.
I ran a 10K with mom. And it was so hot. It was 90 degrees. Oh my god.
Okay.
I think
AirPod in.
running at an 850 mile pace in 90-degree weather was harder than running
Testing 1 2 3.
6 miles like a 10K in 75-degree weather at a 7-minute mile pace.
Wait,
Yeah.
how fast did you run it?
It was like an 8:55. It was almost a 9-minute mile pace. And mom was like, "Oh, 從來沒有跑那麼快." And I was like, "Oh, 從來沒有跑那麼
What? No, mom
慢."
has definitely ran faster than a 9-minute mile pace.
Not for that long. Not for a 10K, she said. Or at least not for a long time. But it was a good run. Not much to look at in the suburbs. I'm not going to lie.
Dude, mom
just
runs circles in the
in
neighborhood.
our neighborhood.
And I'm like,
Which
how do
honestly-
you not get bored
Circles.
of that?
At one of the parks, like
Uh-huh.
one circle is 1 mile. She'll do that like 10 times.
Yep. She'll do it 10
Wait, what
circles.
park? There's a park?
Could tell.
Oh,
A circle around Cattell, yeah.
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's not that much different from running around a track, which if you did track
Yeah.
and field, it's the same thing. And she did track and field too, so we're truly
Park
living
pivot.
out
But,
already.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm eating right now.
Okay.
But I went to Levan Bakery, which is like
Levan?
the only place in New York that it's Levan.
It's Levan.
Really? Levan?
Isn't
Mm-hmm.
it A-I-N?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's Levan.
Man.
Good to know.
I
Says
think.
who? The
It
owners?
says the owners. Do you see the
Dang.
TikTok that I sent? They're so cute. I love them.
We don't watch your TikToks.
You have a TikTok?
kidding.
I do remember you sending it. I don't know why.
Anyways.
Oh, you did send that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I remember. now.
I went today after my doctor's appointment because I was like, I've cried today. I deserve a sweet treat. And then,
Nice.
so I got myself a sweet treat, and I always get the chocolate chip walnut, like favorite cookie ever. But they have a new seasonal flavor called Rocky Road. And I was like debating between the two because I was like, well, I know that chocolate chip walnut is my favorite, but I do kind of want to try this new flavor. So I asked the cash register guy, I was like, okay, give me your honest personal opinion. What do you think about the Rocky Road cookie? He goes, it's probably my favorite right now. So then I got it and now I'm eating it and it's not as good.
Oh,
Mid.
no.
Dang.
Did you microwave
mean,
it?
No, but the chips are like slightly melted.
Oh,
What
It
is
feels-
Rocky Road? Like, what makes it rocky?
There's like
You gotta get
Walnuts.
some nuts.
marshmallows.
Yeah.
marshmallows.
There's
Hodgepodge of
oatmeal. Yeah.
What?
There's oatmeal chunks in here, like granola-y oatmeal.
So it's literally just every type of cookie into one cookie.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like a little too sweet for me. But
Hot take.
Huh.
wow.
I don't
Anyways.
like
Sweet for a
Levan.
cookie.
You don't like Levan?
I don't think it's that good. I've had it multiple times too, multiple
Insomnia
flavors.
cookie or Levan?
Dude, I would rather have an
Levan.
insomnia cookie.
Levan 100%.
Levan does feel like you're eating like a cleaner cookie, but I don't want that when I'm eating a cookie. I want something super unhealthy.
It does not feel clean. It feels like butter.
What?
There's so
Whenever
much
I've
more
had
butter
it's
content.
Like kind of dry.
I like I kind of like that though.
I like ooey
Or-
gooey.
It's not like a standard typical cookie, and I kind of like that because like I can bake myself cookies, but I'm not going to go through the effort of baking myself a Levan cookie.
Yeah, I like the standard cookie that's just flat.
Yeah.
I don't like a mound of cookie. It's just not the experience of eating a mound of a cookie is not as good as just eating a flat cookie.
I love like the bubbly exterior. I like love the little hard like crispy chunks on the outside of a Levan cookie. So good.
I
You'd
like crispy parts of cookies too, but I don't like
Yeah.
it in the Levan form.
But like I don't like the ratio because I feel like in a regular cookie you can only get so much crisp before it's like rock hard, you know?
I think it's before it's rock hard. What kind of cookie are you
Yeah.
eating?
Or it bakes all the way through, like a Chips Ahoy.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
fan.
No.
Between Chips Ahoy, like the standard Chips Ahoy and the chewy Chips Ahoy, the standard Chips Ahoy are way better
Wait.
in my opinion.
I
Wait,
agree.
wait. Oh, wait. Yes. Wait,
Yeah.
no.
Like the blue packaging versus the red packaging, I'll take the blue ones any day.
Oh, No,
Yeah.
you need to get the brown packaging. The Chips Ahoy with the brown
The brown
packaging, the crunchy one.
Yeah,
That's
the
the
crunchy
go.
one's
That's
probably
the best Chips Ahoy.
Dude, you know what? I
Yeah.
think the
If I
best cookie
ever
is
look-
nostalgia factor wise. Nestle Toll House cookies that we bake
Yes.
at home.
The
Dude, I
Nestle
love
Toll
those.
House. I think there's just a
Mhm.
little too much baking soda in that one. I don't like the heavy baking soda flavor.
Mm.
Yeah, but I
Rachel,
think
what
a
were you
lot
saying?
of
Cut you
a lot of cookies suffer from that.
Oh, I was just gonna say if I ever look constipated during this, it's because I'm suppressing a cough.
Did they prescribe you anything? Oh, they probably prescribed you a pretty strong cough suppressant. It's probably an opiate.
Nice. I have some
Do you
Percocet in
think-
my room if you
do you
need
think
it.
CVS is open tomorrow morning?
Yes, it should be open 24/7.
It's July
There are
4th.
24/7
Yeah.
ones.
Definitely is.
But the one that I sent it to.
Yeah. I mean,
You can look
that's-
it up.
You have tried. I wonder if there's a stronger cough suppressant because there's dextromethorphan, which is an
I
opiate,
have-
but that's like a
Dude, it's gonna be
over-the-counter
crazy
drug.
once Jesse can start
I have
prescribing you stuff.
dextromethorphan.
True.
Lit.
Wait, I do have it.
Yeah, you have that. It's an opiate.
I
Yeah.
feel like you're coughing less compared to last night.
I have coughing fits now. So
Mm.
like I'm coughing
Comes
less,
and goes
but
in waves.
when I start coughing, it'll take me like 5 minutes to stop. Like when I got into the doctor's office and he started asking me questions, I just nonstop coughing. He was like, "Well, you don't need to tell me why you're here." And I went, "Yeah."
Oh. Bronchitis
Yeah.
is tough. I feel like
Yeah,
a lot of
it's
our
a couple
freshman floor
weeks.
all got
You're gonna be
bronchitis
coughing
at the
for a
same
couple
time.
weeks.
A couple weeks.
Yeah, it can last a couple
Weeks
weeks.
is crazy.
Kill me. He said, "If you're not better by mid next week, go get a chest x-ray."
I've
I
heard
feel like
it
you'll be
can
better by
last a
mid
couple
next
weeks. So TB is not off the table then. He didn't really do any diagnostic tests. He just said bronchitis probably because it's the most common. And then if you're still coughing, he's like, "Oh, this is probably something worse."
Hmm.
So chest X-ray is what you use for TB. So he still
What is
suspects
TB?
TB.
Like tuberculosis. Like what is it?
It's a bacteria that forms granulomas in your lungs.
Dang, that sounds bad. Does it lead to anything, or does it just lead to bad TB?
Yeah, if you don't treat it, it can get really bad.
Hmm.
And
Jesse,
it's really,
don't you
it's
have
really
TB?
contagious, I think. Yeah, so I did also
Nice.
have. I had latent TB. You can have inactive
Oh,
TB.
you did have that. I remember.
Yeah. And I had to take 9
Oh.
months of isoniazid,
I
which
remember
was
that.
so ass because in college, you can't when you take isoniazid, there are a lot of things you can't do. You can't drink. You can't.
Wow, you went 9 months without drinking? Was this
I
during
think
your
it's just-
Christian
I think it's
phase?
just you
In
can't drink.
college.
Dude,
Well,
you might as well
sorry.
be pregnant. That's crazy.
No. This actually worked out really well. My sophomore year, when I had to take isoniazid, it was the year that I was a worship leader, and during that year, I could
Child of
use
God.
I
God
could
was watching
use
out
the
for you.
isoniazid as an excuse to not drink when my friends peer pressured me, instead of.
God was watching out for you.
Wow, God was watching out for you.
And then one time, my friends forced me to take a tiny shot with them, and I actually died. Like I think the reason why you can't drink and take isoniazid at the same time is because it like compromises your liver function. Don't quote me on that.
Cool,
I'm not sure,
cool.
but I got super sick just from one shot.
Wow.
And then my friends felt bad. So, and then now those friends are in med school and they learned about isoniazid. They're like, "Yeah, that's our bad,
we
man.
fucked up.
We shouldn't have forced you to take that shot." I was like, "I told you I couldn't take it." They're like, "We just thought you were a bitch." I was like, "Damn."
Dang.
Anywho, let's check in and then we can officially get started. What's up, friends and family? Welcome to this week's episode of the Rooftop Pod. My name is Jesse, and I'm your host. Today, I'm joined with my brother
Andrew.
and my sister,
Oh, jeez.
my sickly sister.
Deathly ill.
Rachel.
You guys might have noticed a theme here. Rachel is constantly sick. She's been sick for multiple pods so far. We don't really know what's going on, but she seems to catch the flu or get a cold or COVID or bronchitis in this case fairly frequently, which makes me a little concerned that she has some sort of immune deficiency.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. Wait, did you tell your doctor that you get sick very often? Because that's something that
No.
you should take into account. I mean, I think immune deficiencies exist on a on a spectrum to some extent, but you're far along one end of the spectrum. Anyways,
Yeah, I should get blood work done.
You definitely should get blood work done.
yeah, that would
If
help.
you've never
You should
done
get
it,
blood
yeah.
work done because then they can count your white blood cells and see if you have a deficiency. Andrew will
This
pay
is
for
a
it.
PSA. Okay. I mean, I will, but everyone should get their blood work done. You learn a
Yes.
lot. Like
Um,
if you're pre-diabetic.
So Rachel, yeah, go get your blood work done so we can actually know if there's a root to this problem. And then if there is, there are medicines that can help or precautions you can take.
Yay!
It's actually very easy to get blood work done. Go to LabCorp. You can schedule one like next week if you want to, Rachel. You should actually
Nice.
do that next week.
Yeah.
It's like $40.
Anywho, how have your
$40?
how have your last couple weeks been? I think we're all settled into the summer now. I'm back in Ohio. I think I'm living out that TikTok trend of transitioning from travel to your banal life.
I'm
9 to
also
5
back in
life.
Ohio.
That's true. You are in Ohio right now.
Let's go.
And I'm in New York.
Um,
Everything's backwards.
Everything is backwards.
Yo, you
Except
guys want to know
Jesse.
something crazy? I was grocery shopping the other day at the Chinese market here, and I was walking, and someone like tapped my shoulder and was like, "Hey, are you on a podcast?" I was like, "Yeah, I am on a podcast actually." She's like, "Oh, I think I've seen your reels and stuff." So shout out Annie, you were really sweet. Thanks for coming up to me. That
Aw.
kind of made my day.
Cute.
And then the next day, I went to a Chinese restaurant with my friend Nick, and one of the waitresses asked me the same question. She's like,
wow.
"Hey,
it's the
are you on a
worldwide out
podcast?"
here.
I have
That's so cute.
I've never been approached in Ohio, and I kind of liked that for a little bit. I was like, dang, it's kind of nice to just be a nobody here. And my cover's been blown, but they were all really positive interactions. So I appreciated those people for coming
Wait,
up.
Rachel, have you been approached in New York yet? Like on your own?
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Actually, the only time I was approached on my own was on the first day of my internship last year.
Right.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
became
no,
best
that's
friends
not
with that
true.
girl.
You went grocery
Huh?
shopping at home in that Chinese market,
No.
remember?
Yeah, Andrew asked
I was. Wait,
in New York, have I been
Yeah.
approached by myself?
Oh, in New York.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that was kind of fun, but now that I'm back in Ohio, it made me realize, or not even just Ohio, back in the U.S., I think I'm going to continue some China glaze because the last episode where we glazed China really hard didn't work out, so I'm going to glaze China a little more on this episode. Are you aware of that? The one that I recorded while I was still in China.
Yeah.
The audio didn't work out,
The audio
so
was
that's why we
bad.
had to re-record everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really miss China already. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I mean, a large part of it is not being close to family. It felt like I was back at home, being with all the people that I love. And now that I'm away from all those people and I'm not even with you guys or mom and dad anymore, it just feels like I'm like not in the proximity of family and that familial comfort anymore. And I miss that a lot. I also miss the cheap food. I also miss the really drastic changes in like life
Scenery.
experiences and scenery that you can get in China. So like going from a big city like Shanghai, which I think, in my opinion right now, ranks as the top 1 country in the world. I have heavy recency
Country.
bias, so take that into account.
Whoa.
But I think Shanghai is like a crossover between Miami and New York. So if you've never visited, you should definitely go check out Shanghai. They also have amazing public transportation, which I don't know if we mentioned that on the last episode, which enabled me to do a lot of
Yeah.
sightseeing. And
Wait, I get New York, but why Miami?
Miami, because it was really humid and kind of tropical while I was
Oh,
there.
okay.
So there
I
was a
see
lot of
that.
greenery and a lot of green parks. And it's next to water, even
all
though
of
it's like
a lot of
Is
China
there
is just
beaches in
green.
Shanghai? Is the concept of going to the beach a thing in China?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. People just don't do it.
Because like
Yeah.
I know people don't love tanning, just like Eastern
Mhm.
beauty standards.
And
but-
also modesty.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, is going to a beach a thing? Is that like a common pastime? I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen it. Like, I was a little bit on China social media, and I think a lot of people were like, oh, like TikTok's ruining the minds of young people in the US. Yes, that is very true.
Dude,
But
seeing our little brothers here, 100% true.
true, brain rot is real.
Dude, so
But
real.
in China, they have their own versions and derivations of TikTok. So they have Douyin, which is still TikTok, but they now have so many other versions of TikTok, like Xiaohongshu, which is like another version of TikTok. I think there's another one called Kuaishou or something. And I scrolled through their TikTok for a while, and I was like, this is just as bad as US TikTok. Because I think we were told at some point that China TikTok is like micro learning, educational, and like the
Really?
Chinese
No.
government. No,
I don't think I've ever
I
heard
think
that.
when TikTok was under fire for being owned
I
by
know what you're talking
potentially,
about.
yeah, there was like
Mm.
a lot of people were talking about how TikTok in China is very different. It's like very educational there. But I was scrolling through TikTok. I was like,
Absolutely not.
this is like China brain rot. So it's just as bad over there. I don't know if the
Yeah.
government has made any efforts to control the algorithm, but it's just as bad.
I saw Andy and Lidi scrolling through. I don't know if it was Douyin or Xiaohongshu.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just yelling at you.
A
It's
lot
so
of yelling.
overstimulating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
the in-your-face text to screen trying to sell you something. Content.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the addiction to social media is just as bad in China. I think mom was complaining a lot about how a lot of our family back at home are now also addicted,
Mhm.
like the adults too, where whenever they had a bit of free time between work or doing some duties at home, they would just be scrolling on their phone the entire time. And I noticed that too.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's like a norm. Like I see that here. I see that in China. Adults, kids, everyone alike. If you have a phone and you have free time, you're just scrolling.
Yeah. This is what my doctor was saying today also. He was like, yeah, my daughter, she was like your age. She is stuck to her phone. She
Yeah.
like cannot, if anyone was trying to get information out of her, if she was being like held hostage or something, all they would have to do is take away her phone. She'd give them every single bit of information, my tax returns, where I live, everything. He was
Dude,
like,
parenting in this generation is hard. I talked to
So
mom a lot
is.
about how to
yeah,
parent, and mom's saying like how raising us is so much different than raising Philip and John. And I was helping John. I mean, Jesse, you were here last night, but this morning
Mhm.
we got into it again because backstory for the listeners. We have a younger brother named John. I'm gonna expose him. I'm sorry, John, but mom and John have just been like at it in terms of just like
Mhm.
fighting, and mom's just trying to get him to be more productive. And it is fair, like it's the summer. And from a kid's perspective, I get it from John's end. Like mom wants him to play 3 hours of piano, work out every day, read a book, memorize Bible verses, write a journal. I think it was those things. And John's just like, I can't do that much work. And honestly, that is daunting. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
The amount of work
As a
mom is
14-year-old
asking
kid, tough.
3 hours of piano is tough, even
Mhm.
without all the other things. And so like this morning we renegotiated. I was just like, Mom, you are asking John for too much.
Mhm.
And the problem is John's
read a
like,
whole
yeah,
book.
Mom asks like one thing and then she keeps on tacking other things. I'm like, Mom, honestly, like 2 hours of piano, because John agreed to 2 hours of piano. I'm like, dang,
wow.
even that's a lot. I was like, 2 hours of piano, workout.
John, you can
write a
negotiate for
journal.
less. You know that, right?
That's, I'm like, dude, 2 hours is a lot. But
gotta
I'm like,
lowball
dang,
them.
like, honestly though, I'm like, I get it from mom's perspective, because John will wake up, he'll run his cross country thing, play 2 hours of piano, and then write a journal entry in like 10-20 minutes. He can be done with all of that by noon, and then pretty much from noon to 7 p.m. or sorry
Play
to
on
like
his phone.
10 p.m. like those 10 hours, I think it just makes mom feel really bad that all he does is just on his phone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that's
There's
how
just,
kids
like, no
connect with their friends
playtime
nowadays. Yeah,
anymore.
they don't go ride out on bikes. Philip sometimes
They don't
goes
go to
out,
the
like,
pool.
yeah, Philip is out with his friends tonight, which is really good. I think Philip's like getting to that age where he can drive now. He's socializing with friends. He's
Oh,
not
he can
driving by
drive?
himself. Not by himself. But I
Oh.
took him driving yesterday. Philip's
Oh,
a great driver.
He can't drive. Oh,
Uh,
really?
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
he's really good. He's really good. I was
Nice, nice.
impressed.
All that video
He's-
game playing is paying off.
Yeah, I've had other friends who I remember when they first got their license, and I was in their car, and like the start and stop motion was so sudden. I'm like, dude, I don't feel safe in this car. But
I think
Philip,
that's
he's
one
good.
thing that Dad instilled in us is like starting and stopping very slowly so that there's no
Yeah.
jolt.
Yeah, no, Philip's a good driver. Good spatial awareness. Drove to Liberty Mall. I was gonna buy John a birthday present, and so I was like, Philip, what do you think John wants? And Philip's like, literally nothing. And I'm like, all right, this is. He's like, he might need socks, and I'm like, I don't know.
Literally. I think it's really
Uh.
interesting how now that we've grown older, we take part in parenting John and Philip.
Yeah,
I think, well,
that's true.
Mom and Dad even sometimes asks us because we're kind of like the bridge between the two generations. And in my opinion, I think the way they're parenting John and Philip, and I don't want to say they're doing it wrong, but they're applying the same method that they used to parent us to John and Philip. But they're very different now, very motivated, very differently. They're just different people. I don't know if it's because they grow up in a different context or Mom and Dad have just changed a lot. Like one of the most apparent things is they don't physically discipline John or Philip anymore.
They ain't getting their ass beat anymore. That's for sure.
I feel like a little bit of an ass beating goes a long way. Just because the gall on John, like the audacity that John has is mind blowing to me. Like he will, okay, I shouldn't out John here, but like he will like do some things that are extremely questionable. And I'm like, dude, where did you gain the confidence to do something like that?
Yeah.
You are the child of the family. You cannot be behaving like this to your mom and dad. And like, I'm just like, at some point you just need to like give them a little bit of a stern
No, I
Stern
think there's
slap
other
on the
ways
leg.
of parenting.
I think gentle parenting still might work because John, I see it in
not
Philip
with
a lot.
it's child dependent, I think.
I see it.
Philip for sure.
Philip's doing well now. Like I talked to Philip. But even John, like after we renegotiate today, I'm just like, hey John, can you like help take Winston out for a walk? I mean, it's the bare minimum. But he'll still like do things. I'm like, hey, go take Phil or Winston out while like Mom and I were prepping dinner, and then he'll do
That's
that.
the
He'll like
thing
set his
is
phone
like
down and everything.
they have to be because they'll listen to me too when I ask them to do these things.
But you do have to ask them. They won't do it out of their own volition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
much of it were
exactly.
we doing out of our own volition?
That's the
back in
thing.
day?
I don't
I
think
don't
I
remember.
was.
I mean, I
what
did help out
responsibility we
around the
had.
house, but I don't even know how much I did on my own. Like
Yeah,
when Mom
I
was
think they would
pregnant,
have
I
to ask
definitely
us.
I did that definitely did a lot. I remember washing the dishes a lot. I remember like lulling the little babies to sleep. But
I think the
Yeah,
biggest thing I have a
I don't know.
question on is all three of us found something that we really enjoyed doing, like extracurricular wise. Like Rachel, like
That's true.
well, you had your own bouts with violin, but you seem to really enjoy violin and all your extracurricular stuff. Same thing with me and Jesse with the sports that we did and also the clubs that we were in. I don't think Philip's in any clubs, and like they both don't really enjoy like the sports that they're doing.
yeah.
So I'm like, what do you do? Like, they haven't found like a thing that they enjoy. And like as a parent, do you force them into something or do you let them kind of just lollygag around?
Find
right?
their own way.
So that's the thing. I'm like, what do I do? Like if I have a kid that just doesn't seem to find interest in anything,
Outside
like,
video games. Yeah.
I'm like, what do you do as a parent? I'm like, I don't know. Like, do you, like, I think everyone says like, oh, you just signed them up for a lot of things and then they're gonna find something that they enjoy. But like, what if they don't? Because that's what happened with Philip and John. Like, mom and dad signed them up for everything, like all the sports under the sun. But at the end of the day, like, they just didn't gravitate towards anything. Yeah, I don't know.
I think there's
question.
some aspect of social media, video games killing motivation to do things outside of the virtual world. But I also do think in our mind, we're definitely making things a little more dramatic than I think
also
they
true.
actually might be. Because I remember there were kids in my class who video games were around when we were growing up too. And there were definitely kids, peers of mine, people in my class that religiously played video games. And I remember their parents were also concerned. And like one of the person that comes to mind right now, he's a software engineer at Amazon now. So I think he ended up doing,
Oh.
yeah.
Bleep
Yes.
that. Sorry.
Yeah, he ended up doing very well for himself. But I remember he was playing, I mean, I got introduced to a lot of video games because of him. and then I play a lot with him. But outside of what I could play, he was playing more than that. And I know his parents were slightly concerned, but then in college, he matured, found a passion outside of video games, and then
Didn't he
now he's
like
great.
build his own PC in high school?
I don't remember, but building your own PC is not actually that hard. I was
Well,
trying
I
to
feel
build
like
one in high school too. I
back
just
in
didn't
the-
have money to do it. Yes, I also really wanted to build my own PC, but it's like
Yeah,
1,000,
introduce-
1,500 if you need
Yeah.
if you wanted to build one. But yeah, no, he loved computers, and video games kind of led him into that path. Which, again, they're still really young. We have to remember John is just turning 14.
14.
I
Well,
think he's
16,
in
turning
his rebel
17.
phase right now, where I think this is the worst stage of child rearing, and then it gets better from here. I think we all, I mean, if I think back, I think there was always a period for all of us where we were just super rebellious. And I look back and I'm like,
Right.
that version of Jesse is probably the worst
Yes.
version of Jesse to exist.
Yes, I think all of these things too, but then I also think about some of the things that John does, and I'm like, this is worse than anything I've done, and I've done some pretty bad things. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think
It
you'll be
truly is
alright.
just like the audacity,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like the lack of respect, like the lack of consideration just for the people around him is just like
Mm-hmm.
really mind-boggling.
I want to unpack
Like, they
this a
don't
decade
feel-
later once he understands.
Yeah, they just
all
don't feel
this.
any guilt for how they make mom and dad feel. Because I remember, like, I would argue with mom, and then I
But
would
you would
feel
feel
bad
guilty about it.
afterwards. Yeah.
They might feel bad. I don't know.
I don't know if I felt guilty about arguing with mom and dad after we fought about things. Because I remember, like, yeah, like dad, like, forcing me to, like, prep for the SAT and everything, and me not wanting to do that either.
It's the worst period.
Or,
of
like,
living
mom
with
forcing
dad.
me to play,
It's
yeah,
test-taking
play
period.
piano. Oh, jeez. Phil's about to enter into that. But
Yeah,
no,
that's
now,
true.
like, he's not going to have the same pressure you did, Jesse.
Oh, no,
Absolutely not.
definitely not. I don't think dad
Dude.
cares about their...
Not really.
Well, I don't think he doesn't care
well,
about
he
their
knows that they'll be
futures.
fine.
Yeah.
Like,
He's
I mean,
seen so
we're
many
like
iterations
so
turn out fine.
concerned.
He's just like-
But like, I look at Philip and John and how they perform academically. They'll be fine. They're
Yeah.
doing just fine. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's segue. I think this is prevalent on our minds because Andrew's at home right
At
now, and I was
home,
at
yeah.
home last week,
Yeah.
and I took care of Philip and John while we came back from China. And I think I sparked maybe a little bit of interest in science with Philip because I took him to my
the
lab, but I don't know if that's going to carry forward. I think it's interesting how all three of us are doing something completely different, and I almost feel like they see our lives the same way Andrew saw my life, Rachel saw my
Yeah.
life, and they were like, I don't want to do that. So maybe they've seen 3 different career paths, and they're just like, we don't want to do any of that. So now what's left? Because we've kind of taken up
Yeah.
a lot
Law.
of it.
Law is the only thing left.
Law's like the
The next
The
big
only
one.
respectable.
Asian-friendly career path.
Yeah.
Doctor, lawyer,
Asian-approved.
engineer, finance. Law's the-
Software engineer. I could
Oh,
see
that's
Philip
true.
and John go down that path.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was Philip's age, though, I already knew I was going to go into finance. Well, I went out of finance, but I remember being a sophomore
Blech.
in high school, and I was just like, I'm
That's
going to
so
be an
gross.
investment banker.
how things have changed.
Man. Crazy.
Dang.
How things
I mean,
have changed.
life is also always subject to change. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
at this age, I
That was nuts.
didn't think I wanted to become a doctor, but I really liked science, engineering,
anatomy
STEM
and-
field.
yeah,
Yeah. And it slowly narrows in. That's exactly how life goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of a pivot. So recently I've been playing a ton of golf, and my game is it's locked in.
Nice.
And I was thinking, man, wouldn't it be nice if I could create a life where I just get to play golf like every single day, 25% of my day, and then do something really meaningful, impactful the other 75% of my day? Can I build that ideal life for myself? So I kind of wanted to ask you guys, what is your picturesque ideal life in your like 30s and 40s once you've settled down? You don't plan on moving anymore. You don't plan on changing career paths anymore. You don't plan on, like, there's not a lot of change ahead of you. once you're stable, what does that ideal life that you want, and how do you think you can get there? And is
Wait,
it
how
even
far are
possible
we?
to get there?
Because 40 and 30s is different. 40s,
Not-
I'm like kids are like kind of
Okay,
growing up.
it's not really an age thing. It's more of like
Just
there's not
picturesque
much
life.
change
I see.
ahead of you. Like you're in your stable life that you're gonna live for basically the next few decades. Because right now everything's like subject to change every 3 or 4 years. You know.
Yeah. Every year.
I
I'll
was
let you
gonna
guys
say,
sit on that.
ideally, by the time that I'm that old, the problems that I'm working towards solving currently in regard to like climate change aren't that big of an issue anymore. But like with the current state of things, it will always be an issue.
You always have a job.
Yeah, sadly. um, but yeah, I would honestly say like the impact of the work that I'm doing right now really resonates with me, and I'm really lucky that I can say that. Like I find my work like the only issue is that I don't have a very stable stream of work, and so it's a little stressful day to day figuring out like what I'm gonna be doing. But I like the diversity of the work that I get, and I also like the impact of the work that I'm doing. I think it's super interesting. I'm learning a lot about like, you know, climate change and like what we can do to address it. So I think I will always want that to be part of my life where I feel like I'm working towards building a better future, which is so cheesy. But sorry, I'm just throwing up thinking about what just came out of my mouth. I think it honestly might be
Corny AF.
I think it
Sounded
might
like
be
a
like one of our
cornball.
motto slogan things. I like slowly feel myself getting brainwashed the longer that I'm at this company. I'm just like
Drinking more and
spewing
more
like
Kool-Aid.
build a more sustainable future. Anyways, which is like, yeah, that's great, but like cuz
What
guys,
does that mean?
no, please. There are like quotes from the founder of my company like painted all over the office. Like I am like the
Nice,
subtle
nice.
messaging is really getting to me, you guys. I'm
Yeah,
like,
but
messaging.
it's like brainwashing you to
good.
do good in this world. It's not like brainwashing
Oh.
you to be misincentivized.
this is true, but
think.
It's not like you're
anyways.
working for a tobacco company. You're okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is good brainwash.
Okay. But yeah,
Positive brainwashing.
yeah. Just like working to build stronger and more resilient communities and like building towards equity and things like that. I know.
Nice.
But it is like truly this is like what I want the
Nice.
impact of the work that I do in this world to be. And I find it really meaningful, and I find that like the impacts are very tangible, and you can see like it's yeah. It's just like seeing these large infrastructure projects like bring people together is like something that I want to see with like in the work that I do.
Hopefully a public railway system across California is one of those things.
Yeah, or up and down the East Coast would be great.
Or
It's already
transcontinentally.
happening. California High-Speed Rail is a project that's currently being funded. The BART system is also being expanded. Lots of things in
Nice.
California. Anywhere else in the world?
We gonna move to California then?
Yeah. I mean, Andrew
Dang,
and I have
Rachel.
talked about this.
And Rachel, you're going to the West Coast. You might just stay there after grad school.
Yeah, I'm thinking about
Possibilities.
it. I will be, they're letting me work out of the SF office for my last week. So
Oh,
I'll see.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I'll be able to see.
so you're
yeah.
moving early.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gonna move?
So, yeah. So I'm
Oh,
moving
yeah.
in. So
What?
because if I didn't do that, I'd have 2 days to like fully move into Berkeley.
When?
And I was
August?
just like August 17th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, still pretty late.
Yeah.
Lit. Cool.
But yeah, so yeah, they were like, we're gonna backload your work to be with projects with the California office because we do a lot of work with the California office, just so you can like physically work with the people at that office. And I was like,
Yep.
this is exactly what I wanted. Thank you
Nice.
so much. Yeah, I love the
Cool.
people at my office. They're super accommodating. They're like always watching out for like what's best for me, which I'm very grateful for. Anyways, so point being, I would love to do work, but I would also love to play. I would love to live by all of my best friends, and
Mm-hmm.
I would also love to live near or in a big city, but also near big nature. So
What
I can
about
play
your
with my
brothers?
friends.
West Coast.
Huh?
What about living near your brothers?
Oh, sorry. I mean, I guess you guys
That's
can be
whatever.
left. You guys can be lumped into the best friends category, I guess.
Dang.
Um,
Like it is.
yeah, but just like within walking distance or public transit distance of all my besties, so we can hang out whenever. And I would love to host lots of dinner parties for all of my friends, so all of my friends can become friends with each
And
other.
brothers.
And it's just and brothers and parents question mark. But so everyone gets along with everyone, and it's big and happy and playful all the time, and there's no drama. And then
Yay.
I also want
Mom
to
and
live by
dad.
nature, so I can take mom and dad on little hikes all the time. And then I can also have seclusion and get away from everyone when I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed.
Very good.
I love that.
That's nice.
Yeah. And where can we do all these things? Andrew and I have talked about this. Every time we envision our futures, the vision just goes and gravitates towards California. Unless you can
does,
think of
it
another
does.
place.
Yeah,
And California has its issues, but
Big city, big nature.
Yeah.
yeah, big nature.
big city, big nature. Or
Big
Vancouver.
family.
We don't have to stay.
That's true.
In the
I forgot
US.
about Canada.
Yeah,
I don't know
By-
anything about Canada though.
by the Canadian Rockies,
Mm-hmm.
by Whistler.
Oh, I mean, in previous
that's
or
interesting.
maybe not even previous episodes, previous conversations with Rachel has always been quite anti-California. I mean, you haven't gone there yet, so maybe once you're there, it might flip back. But it seems like you're warming up
I
to
just
an
think-
idea of a Zahn family living in California future.
I think like realistically we're gonna stay in the US because
Hmm
it is
I don't
like
think you can practice
where
up
else?
in Canada, can you, Jesse?
I think I can.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Not
yeah,
sure
my company
entirely,
also has a office in
but Canadian
Calgary.
office.
Yeah. And in Toronto, but I don't know if
But
I
I
would
feel like I can
like
work
Toronto
anywhere.
just feels like New York but smaller. And then we can also go to
awesome.
New
Toronto's great.
Zealand.
Oh, now
We
we're
could go
thinking
to
outside the
Auckland.
box
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
thing. I feel like Shanghai is probably the most realistic out of US possibility for me. Like long term, like
Okay.
if I want to stabilize somewhere. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I still don't think that's like a less than 3% chance.
Mm.
Wait,
Yeah.
Shanghai over Canada?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we might as well. If
Oh.
we're moving
Yeah.
out of the country, might as well move close to family.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
that's
Because
true.
there's still a lot of family in China. Yeah.
Well, I
Mhm.
guess flying out of Vancouver back to China would not be as bad as like flying from.
That's true.
I just don't
The
know anybody in
Midwest.
Vancouver.
Huh?
I don't know anybody in Vancouver. But like Shanghai, we have a base of family out there.
But we'd be drivable distance to Seattle. And we
Yeah.
have a lot of family friends in Seattle. Or I
Especially
personally
family.
have a lot of friends out of
I'd-
Seattle also.
Yeah,
Not as much for me. Man.
I think moving to the West Coast is also, like you guys mentioned, is really convenient to get to Asia. And I
Yeah.
know a lot
that
of
is true.
families,
That is
especially
true.
Asian American families, who move to California for the purpose of convenience of going back home.
Mm.
And I think that would be really good for mom and dad once they get to an old age. Hopefully, they're going to retire by the time
Yeah.
we make this move, because I know mom and her older sister have this like grand plan of once all of our kids have left the nest, gone to college, we're just going to travel all the time and, you know, live
Which
out the
is
life
so
that you
cute.
guys have built.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which one of you guys are taking me to do that, huh?
Well,
Huh?
I think
Who's
we
saving
both
up?
will be capable
We
of
both
that
can, yeah.
when we're of that age. So,
Yeah.
and Rachel, you will
Anyways.
also have money at that point, hopefully. It's
You're
not,
working.
it's not like you're going to be a bum.
Will I? Will
Yes.
I?
Well, I don't know. Do you want that to be in your future? It sounds
That's
like
true.
you like your
Do you
job.
want to be mom? Like mom's life is like she chose the stay-at-home mom life, which is a great life. Mom loves her life. Living with mom is very inspiring.
Yeah,
Such a
yeah.
happy laugh.
I truly, honestly, one of my friends in New York, it's like, I just want to live a simple life. I want to go live on a farm, grow my own food. And I was like, you want to be my mom. That's
Yeah,
what you
pretty
want to
much.
be. You
Move
can
into the
go hug
garden,
my
we silo
mom.
a bunch of vegetables, and then we cooked it for
Yeah.
dinner. And
Yeah. And he
yeah.
was like, honestly, yeah, I just want a simple life. I was like, you
Mm.
and my mom would get along so well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think as we get older, our desire for a simpler and simpler life becomes stronger. Because for
Yeah.
me, even now, I'm just like, well, for me, I actually don't know
Golf.
if I want the simplicity of a 9 to 5 where every day is scheduled the exact same way and I know what I'm doing every single day. There's some comfort in that, but I realize my life right now is at its peak oh, it's at its peak, and the only problem is I don't have that much money. Because right now in grad school, I'm doing every day I go to work is something different, and I can choose what time I go to work. But when I'm working, I'm doing something that's super fulfilling, something that I really enjoy. And then I can schedule my day such that it ends at a certain time and I can go golf, or I can like start an experiment that has a 2 hour incubation and I can go golf and then come back and continue the experiment.
Everything revolves around golf.
I think
Yeah.
the future of my life will revolve a lot around golf because
Golf.
it's a hobby that you can never feel completely satisfied by, and they engineered the sport perfectly. I think it's peak consumerism addiction. It's not really consumerism, but like just peak addiction.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say I like the 9 to 5 in that it makes planning and scheduling things really easy, because it's like if all of your friends are working, then the only times you have available are the evenings, and then you just find an evening that works, and usually it's dinner and whatever. So it just makes planning easy. Like you're not juggling a bunch of random schedules like you are in college, where everyone has classes at different times, everyone has different like activities at different times. But I hate that everyone has a 9 to 5. So
Yeah.
every morning when you get on the subway, it's packed. Every day when you get off work and you go home, it's packed. You're like packed like sardines in these little train cars. It makes me feel so like cog in a machine, you know? And I also
Interesting.
hate that it dictates your like 8 productive working hours, because there are some points like I work off of like spurts of productivity. I cannot do like hours of working sessions. So it's like if my brain is off and I'm at work, I feel completely useless because I'm just sitting there and just like clicking around. And
Dang.
so I
Sounds like you need to pivot into tech. Dude, I work at
or
9
become
to
a content
5.
creator. Bursts of
Yeah.
inspiration. Yeah.
Like I really like the
not bursts of
culture of
inspiration, just productivity.
no productivity. Like
Kinda go
I'll
hand in
get a
hand,
wave
yeah.
of productivity. I'll log on at like 11 p.m. for like my work at Disney, and then work until 1-2 in the morning, and then maybe sleep in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing about the industry that I'm in is that it requires
to.
so much communication that like you have to
tough.
be working standard hours to be able to know when you can schedule meetings with people. Like my manager is in meetings like straight up from the time he gets into the office until the time that he leaves.
I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does he
Well, there's
love what he
like
does,
days where
though?
it's lighter. Huh?
Unless he likes meetings, then never mind.
Yeah, well, like a lot of his job, well, he's like more so on the business development side now. Sorry. And yeah, with like big infrastructure projects, it is just like you need to be very good about communicating what has been done and like transferring knowledge to people where it's necessary. Yeah, I just think it's the nature of the work is that it just requires a lot of communication, and standard hours works better with that and coordinating that kind of communication.
Yeah. I think what I really like about my job right now is that I actually don't really have that much of the Sunday scaries. I don't really dread Mondays, because if I'm dreading it, I can just be like, oh, I work from home tomorrow. I can just there are things I can always work from home doing. Or if there's not, it's things I need to do, and it doesn't feel like, it's just because I have a lot of autonomy. There's no one telling me when to come in. I hate I hate the idea of having to work for someone else, and I realize that's the reality for most people, and might be the reality for me in the future, but I want to start taking steps to create a future where I'm working for myself and I can be fully autonomous and not answer to anyone else. That's my ideal future.
In my ideal future, I think I feel the same way about you in golf, but me with tennis. And when you said the ideal myself, I want to play tennis with my kids. I saw this TikTok of like just a guy taking his like I think like 7 or 8-year-old daughter to the tennis courts. I'm like, damn, I want that. I want that in my life. But I think I'm the same way. Or I actually don't mind like working for somebody. With somebody. Actually, no,
I agree.
I don't like being told what to do.
I like working with people. Don't get me wrong.
You're right. I like working with people. I don't know if I like working under people.
To
I
some
take
degree,
that back.
I like knowing that. I think right now because I'm an intern and also because I don't have a lot of knowledge, it's like security knowing that there are people that know better than I do and are smarter than I am and know how to direct things and push things in a direction that's like the best, because I certainly don't know what that is.
Yeah, I like to be the person that, oh man, this is going to sound bad, but I like to be the person that knows everything.
Yeah.
A lot
fair.
of people in medicine are like that way. That's why everyone subspecializes, because if you're
It's not a
primary
bad
care,
thing
you're
to
not
know
the final
everything in
end of the
medicine.
change.
Yeah.
Like, you know everything within your lane. So like in medicine, you have primary care physicians who are like your frontline people who will see you, and then they'll refer you to people based on what you have because they don't have the expertise to treat you. And then I want to be at the very end of the line, and I'm like some people don't like that, where they're like the last, what's the word I'm looking for?
Chain of command. I don't know. The final.
No.
Last line of fire.
Last resort, kind of.
Mm.
Almost. Where like no one else before you, because you go to a primary care physician, then you can go to like a comprehensive specialized physician, and then you can go to a subspecialized physician. And then once you're at that stage, you can't send that patient to anyone else. Like you're the final person that everyone has sent down the pipeline. I think I enjoy that, but I've never lived out that life. It sounds a little bit stressful, but being the person who's like, okay, this is my job now to, help the person out. I think I kind of like that.
Yeah, that's great. When you asked that question, Jesse, because you said you never lived out that life, I don't have like an idea of what I'm doing when I'm stabilized. I just know that I need to be doing a lot of things. Because I think I think we talked about this in an earlier pod, the reason why I like my life right now is because I'm doing a lot of different things. I don't want to be doing these same things in like 10, 20 years, but I want to be doing a lot of different things. And Jesse and I have talked about this a lot, where like, I think after graduating college, I really want to break into VC, but then I realized it's so hard to break into VC as an like early 20s person. Like you need experience before you play an investor role in a lot of cases. But I think that's a life that might interest me down the road. But like you said, Jesse, I've never lived that, so I don't know.
Capital allocation is interesting because you get to fuel other people's ideas, and you get to learn cool new exciting technologies and ideas. Where was I going with this? Dang, I lost my train of thought. Give me a second. Let me pick it back up.
Golf, tennis, nature, baby.
For me, I need like one main thing that I'm doing. I can't have just a ton of hobbies, but not one main thing that I'm working towards. Like I need that one main thing that motivates me, that has a big picture impact on the world. It can't just be golf. Like if I played, in my head, playing golf for every hour of all of my waking hours, every single day, and traveling to play really nice golf courses sounds really great. But I think eventually like every other human being, you need some sort of purpose driving what you're doing. Right. And for me, I need one main thing. And luckily, I put myself in a position where I can do that with medicine. So I know what that's going to look like, luckily. All right. Shall we hard pivot?
Hard pivot?
Actually, no. Let's not hard pivot. Oh. This was something else that is also kind of a wholesome thing sorry, I feel like Rachel should be looped into a lot of these conversations that we have. But Andrew and I will call each other.
Guys, what the hell?
Talk about business.
Why don't you guys call me?
We usually talk about Noru.
We talk about Noru or some like
Sorry.
some stuff that we
way
know you won't be interested in, and then
that
we'll
my
tangent off into stuff that I'm like, wait, Rachel would be interested in this conversation.
you guys hate
We do
me.
call big kids
Everyone
every once in a
hates
while.
No.
No, you don't. Not
Um,
anymore. My recent calls look so different now because you guys don't call me.
Well, it's a two-way street. You could call us too. That's also not true. We've called
I feel like I've called
multiple
you
times over the
several
past
times.
week. So
Pull up the phone logs.
Andrew and I were talking about how our sibling relationship trajectory has looked and what it might look like in the future. And I think we might have touched on this in previous episodes,
yeah.
but it's interesting because right now, Andrew and I are probably the closest we've ever been in life.
Ever will be.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
That's an interesting thought,
That's
but
kind of a sad statement to make.
it's kind of a sad statement, but it could be true because both of us are single, and that means a lot of our free time is spent talking to each other. Rachel, I don't think you're bound by the same laws as Andrew and I, but when Andrew and I are single and not talking to anyone, a lot of our attention goes towards each other. But when we're in a relationship, as it has been in the past, a lot of our attention goes towards our partner. And for
That's
Rachel,
so
I feel like
interesting.
it doesn't change.
Yeah.
Rachel
Well,
fits
I think
fits
it's
the
because
partner wedge in that little tiny space of free time in her calendar. I'm kidding.
stop. No, I carve out a lot of time for him.
Good.
Or I feel like I have been making like a conscious effort to do that since we've been doing distance. But I think what's more interesting commentary here is I talked to one of my friends about this, and she was like, I'm like not really close with my brothers because they've always been in like super long-term relationships. And it's because guys don't regularly talk about their emotions with other guys. So when they get a significant other that is a girl, a lot of their emotional talk goes to that girl. And so I feel like I kind of filled in that like girl receiving emotional feelings talk from both of you guys,
That's fair.
which is what happened. Whereas like I feel like I'm comfortable talking about my feelings with you guys because you guys have been there for me in times where like, whoa, I was not doing well.
Yep.
So I feel like that relationship for me opening up to you guys, and it's also because I like truly respect both of your opinions on like various things. So like I like talking to you guys about those things also. So that doesn't change when I have a partner or not.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I started opening up about my emotions to Philip. I started like giving, because I realized like we pretty much know
Interesting.
everything about each other's lives. Like we know all of each other's backstory, lore, everything. I looked at Philip as he was driving me in the car. I looked over at him. I'm like, you know nothing about my life. You
don't know
Yeah.
my
like,
lore.
you don't know like the clubs I mean, okay, he knows the clubs I joined and the places I've been, but like he doesn't know like
Yeah.
any of like college, high school, post college stories or anything. So I just started, I'm like, Philip, I don't know if you care about this, but I'm gonna tell it to you anyways. Because I'm hoping it's the same thing. If I open up to Philip, maybe he'll like start chatting to me. Is the hope. We'll see though. But no, the reason why I said this might be the closest that Jesse and I will ever be, I mean, maybe not, but I was talking to like a good friend of mine in college, and his older brother and him like very close, and his older brother like I think is about the same age difference as me and you, Rachel. It's like 4 or 5 years, but he's married and he just had his nephew, and so he's like rightfully so his older brother now, in addition to spending a lot more time with his wife, like he spends even more time with his son / my friend's nephew.
Yep.
And he's just like, yeah, like it's just the natural cycle of life. Like before, like I was the person that my older brother like took care of as that older brother like parental figure almost, because like that's how he stepped in as. But rightfully so, now that he has a nephew, like all this time should be dedicated toward like his wife and kids. So I'm like, that's just the natural allocation of time as you get older. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like that's true, but then also when you think about once all of our kids leave the home, mom and
We circle
our
back,
aunt,
baby.
we circle back because mom and her older sister, I think,
That's
talk
true.
almost every day. And then I know of other parents and other families who, like my roommate's mom, she talks to her
You're
sister
so right.
every
I
single
forgot
day.
There's a life after this.
Yeah, there's a life
After the
after
kids.
marriage, kids, not after marriage, but after kids. Also not after kids, but after, they become,
Like empty nesters, yes.
yes, once they're no longer the priority. And that kind of scares me a little bit because
Oh.
like I don't want to lose this. I know it's naturally going to happen, and
Yeah.
in the moment we won't feel like we're missing out, but
anything, yeah.
from this perspective right now, I'm like, I call and talk to you guys every single day. There's literally not a day that goes by where I haven't talked to either of you. But in the future, there will be days where we're like, oh, dealing with relationship stuff, dealing with kids stuff. And, the space between the times when we talk are just going to grow larger and larger. And that's kind of
sad.
That's kind of sad to think about. And, I think, and it might not be that case. Like, who knows? Like, maybe we still, like, complain about our kids to each other. Like, there's just new
Raise
things that
kids,
we talk to each
village.
other about. Exactly.
These dumb kids. No, honestly,
Environment.
Xiaoyi and mom talk about kids all the time.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
true. And they're very
true.
different people. They still
different.
bond.
Yeah.
over that,
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think, yeah. But the other thought I had was prior to like this past like 2 or 3 years, like before we were all calling each other like very frequently, we didn't have that experience. Like the extent of our experience of being close friends at this point was just like me and Andrew growing up, we lived in the same room. So we're like automatically best friends because same with John and Philip. You grow up 2 years apart living in the same room. You're both boys. You're going to have a lot in common. You're going to be automatic friends with each other. But then like re-finding that friendship later on, we didn't have that until recently. So I think now when we get into a relationship, and both of you guys have dabbled in relationships since we've refound each other's friendships. I don't know how to put it, but I think
No,
now
that makes
we'll go
sense.
into relationships with a very different perspective. Like
Yeah.
it almost feels
Yeah.
like they have to integrate in with the sibling friend
Yeah.
group, whereas before I don't think I put in any effort of integrating my partner
low-key
into the sibling
same.
group. Yeah. But that's like an important priority. So hopefully, I mean, the relationship will grow in a trajectory where we can stay close, and then we just add someone into that trajectory.
Do you guys ever want to like gatekeep your friends though? Like sometimes I'm just like, oh, the little,
Jesse's
and maybe
friends
this
with
sounds
all
a
my
little
friends at this point.
cliquey. Oh, this is
This is
true. I'm
true.
also friends with lots of your friends. Well, no,
you
no,
are
no.
also
I mean,
friends
like,
with so many of my friends.
You have
I
good
mean, with, like,
friends.
I have great
you
friends.
do. I really like your friends.
They're amazing.
I love your friends. They're so.
I think I have
they're so
independent
sweet.
relationships outside of you. With your
outside of me
friends.
with my
Yes.
friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're
Which
not
is
your
great.
friends anymore. They're just
Yeah.
friends.
Finally. I don't think that's happened with me and any of your friends. I'm gonna just say that out loud.
Hey, but you're also not that kind of person.
I don't
that-
know.
This
I
is
mean, I've met
guess
all
it's
your
also
friends.
kind of
It's just-
true.
I just haven't
feel like
clicked
you
with
don't-
any of your friends to the degree you've clicked with my friends.
I think
Mm.
you
I just
have
haven't
more
clicked.
of a typology of what kind of people you're friends with, Andrew. Whereas I feel
Yes.
like Jesse can become friends with a wider variety of people.
What do you mean by that? What do you,
I think that's true
hey,
too.
Hey, wait, hold on. What do you,
I'm
what do you mean by
friends with such
There's
a large
nothing
variety
wrong
of
with
people,
that.
and I've stayed close friends with a very eclectic group of people, very different, but they all serve like, I don't want to say they serve different purposes, but like they're there for different reasons. But like I still manage to, because like I think about my bachelor party in the future. I'm just like, dude, this group is like not going to get along because they come from all my different walks of life. Like I'm thinking about having separate bachelor parties where we do different things with different people,
Interesting.
because I can't think of one activity that all my friends will enjoy and everyone will get along with. Like the experience, my closest friends are all so different from each other. I don't know if they would get along because they're all good
That's
people,
interesting.
but they wouldn't vibe, you know?
You're right. Like the people
think
that
so,
I'm
too.
friends with a lot of people, but I'm not tight with a lot of people. Like the people that are like inner circle, yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
oh yeah. Gatekeep as in like
Gatekeep your
sometimes so like the idea of having or like us having significant others and like them having to be integrated into the sibling dynamic, like isn't that gonna be weird? Like,
I mean, not
is there an
integrate, just,
expectation
like,
for them to be like in the group, you know?
I mean, not like have a big kids chat. Plus
Plus.
SOs.
Mm.
Dang,
Yeah.
that'd be crazy.
No. Yeah,
Probably
I want
won't ever
gatekeep
have
the
that.
big kids chat.
Yeah, no. I don't think
Exactly.
that's
This is
gonna-
what I
ever gonna
mean.
happen.
True.
Like sometimes like certain environments, I'm just like, I like the dynamic so much that I would kind of, and this is exclusive of me, but like sometimes I just don't want like more people to join, you know?
Yeah, I feel
Like
that.
the more the merrier, yes. However,
However, comma.
It
The less, also the
however,
merrier.
semicolon.
the older and the longer the friend group has existed, the barrier to entry gets much higher. So like with my
Yeah,
really close
yeah.
tight knit
Yeah.
college group, it would feel so weird if we just like introduced someone new. Although
Yeah.
I have introduced like my partners to that friend group and integrated it, but it's at this point, like if any of my really good friends from college start dating someone and they get added, I mean, it depends. I think honestly it would still work out pretty seamlessly. So never mind, I take that back. But like with our sibling friend group, it feels a little different.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably just because I haven't seen it successfully done between the three of us. Like none of us have dated someone that has
Wow.
gotten along with all three of us really well yet.
Yeah. I'm like,
Ha ha
yeah.
ha.
I mean, not to say existing people don't have the opportunity to.
Yes, we haven't even met said existing people.
Hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically, it could work out.
Hypothetically. Ha ha ha. Hypothetically.
I'm dead.
Nice.
No, everything has its time and timeline, and things will all work
Yeah.
itself out.
I
Yeah,
honestly
but
get
it's
scared thinking about the Venn diagramming.
interesting. Diagramming of people in your
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it does make me really sad. Speaking about friends, I've moved around so much. I've realized there's like so many, like from DC to Denver to New York. And I was thinking about like one of my old coworkers reached out to me. This was about a month ago now, but he ended up not coming through to New York. But there's people in Denver that I met at the very end of Denver that I know I would have been really close with. And there's also friends that I was really close with. And now they live in like a small mountain town in like Denver that's like you fly to Denver and then you have to drive another 5 hours to get to their town. And I'm just like, dang, like I know
Why
that
you gotta
I'd be
do
really
that?
good friends with these people. And like in
Yeah.
another life, we would have like stayed homies for like I would have stayed in Denver for like a couple years and became really close with these people. I'm like, and I never got the chance. I'm like, that does make me sad too. But c'est la vie. It is what it is.
Yeah, I've never really met. Well, I haven't moved that many places where I stayed for a short period of time, but I could see that. Yeah, I could see that happen.
Yeah, I've had a lot of just like almost connections with friendships. I feel like.
Yeah, I've had
I
like
think-
almost connections. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rachel.
Oh no, you
Jump.
can go.
No, I was gonna jump a little bit.
Oh, I was gonna say I feel like I've had a lot of almost connections, but then I remember what I already have, and I'm like, I'm
That's
like
true.
satisfied with what I have.
Yeah.
But I think with the almost connections, it's almost like you're thinking really idealistically about someone. I don't know, because I feel like
You
There's
just never know
been
how that's
some-
gonna play out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you
Yeah.
never know, right?
yeah, because there's sometimes that I'm like really excited about some like becoming friends with someone, and I'm like, wow, this person is really cool, and I really admire them, and I think that they like add a lot to my life, like as a friend. and then like the friendship goes on, and then you recognize a lot of their flaws, and you're like, oh, maybe
You
you
actually
aren't
suck.
like
I'm
you
just kidding.
are still a really great person, but you are also a human.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you don't have to deal with the human aspect of who they are
Yeah.
when you've only had a brief connection with them. So
Mm-hmm.
I see.
But once they
You're
become
very-
an actual friend, and then you like learn about unreliabilities and like things like that, like just their flaws as how they operate in a friendship, then it's like, okay.
yeah. And Andrew, your thing hasn't died yet, right?
No, I'm still at full battery.
Oh, nice, cool.
It's still
Um,
recording. Yep.
I was gonna say, and I didn't really have any thought after this thought, so I don't even know if it's worth saying. I didn't have anything to connect it with, but I was gonna say I have a lot of
Speak your
misconnections
mind.
with like romantic connections, not like friendships. When I go travel,
Yeah, you
like
tell
I meet
us
a lot of
about
cool
all
people,
of
and I'm
this.
like,
Yeah.
have this connection, but then they live across the country, and I'm just like, well, this is really cool. It peters out. You talk for a little bit, and then it peters out, and just like, well, I've had so many of those, and it almost feels defeating to the point where I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't put myself out there. But then at the same time, I'm grateful for those experiences, and there's still like people out there that I've connected really well with, and I've definitely gotten a lot of sense of fulfillment. And it's given me hope. I'm like, there are people out there that I really connect with, and I really enjoy the company of. So that sounds really sad, but I think that exists more than
Yeah.
I probably think it does.
Really? You've had that? Like, you've had connections
Not
with
many
people where
times.
you're
Sorry, it's been like a very small handful of times.
Yeah, I feel like he tells us about it every time also.
Oh yeah.
does, but you want to bleep out the names and just like who's coming to mind here? Because I'm drawing blanks.
Wait, I have a specific one.
Like that you
Yeah.
met in person?
Yeah, there's like
We're both single?
Portland girl.
Oh,
God, now I have to go back and cut this out.
sorry.
And
An hour and
then-
10 minutes. Cut it.
And then there's like
Oh, I see.
this girl named
Because I'm thinking like people that you dropped.
conference girl.
Oh.
Conference girl
yeah.
is who I was
Wow.
thinking about.
I take that back. You're right. There have been a lot of things. All right, hour
Yes.
10, hour 11. Mark it.
Yeah.
I see. Right.
And they're so serendipitous, and I don't
Why
think
was
it
I
never
drawing
happens.
a blank on those? Huh.
It never happens when I'm here. But the thing is, I don't put myself out there when I'm in Ohio. I just go to work, play golf, go to sleep, go to work, play golf, go to sleep, go to work, not play golf.
And
go to sleep.
honestly, if it's fulfilling, might
Yeah,
as well
I'm
keep doing it.
I'm more or less happy. I'm just like, because I've had those experiences, I'm just like, oh, I'm ready to leave.
Jesse, do you crave finding the ride or die or no? Is that something
That's
that
not-
you've
that's-
been really?
That's not something that I really think about, actually. Relationships don't come to the forefront of my mind very frequently in my life. And it almost
That's good.
concerns me because I feel like it should be more important in my mind just because of this trip to China. There's been a lot of pressure. I'm just like, internally, I need to feel that pressure within myself first before there's a chance of anything happening. But I don't feel that.
It's not even
And-
pressure. It's yeah. Or
But I think it's just the mindset
internal
of
pressure or internal desire. is
Yeah.
the difference I was gonna say.
like it. I'm more of the mindset of if it happens, it happens.
Mm.
I'm not gonna actively. I mean, I don't really take any active steps to look for it, and the connections that I've had before were very unintentional. I didn't look for them. I just met them and I'm like, oh, hey, this was like really cool, and we got along really well. But
I wonder if it's because all my closest friends are like in very serious like 4+ years relationships where I'm like, oh, this is something I like. Yeah, I don't know, like the stability
you
of
live
having
with
like,
that.
I
You
live with that,
very
Yeah.
and I
successful.
see how yes, there are like things here and there like conflict
Yeah.
resolution, all these things that have to come up, but dude, having that person in your corner, like in the romantic, like of course, like I have family, I have friends who are there for me, but I don't know, having a significant other is like another another, not even tier, but another category of like support where I'm like, oh, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I see those
I don't know.
relationships and I don't really desire them. I
Interesting.
don't know why.
Mm.
Yeah, I definitely have friends who are in beautiful relationships and I think they're awesome.
Mm.
But I'm like, I could do without that right now.
But I've desired this even before I saw it. Like this has been a thought since like college days for me.
Andrew's just a hopeless romantic.
I think
Yeah.
from day one.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
will
don't think
say,
you or Rachel are like that.
I
Yeah.
was like that, I think, in high school.
Really?
but
Oh.
I'm not. Yeah, no.
Interesting.
In high school, I had this grand plan. I've told you guys, like,
Oh,
after I
yeah,
graduate
yeah.
college,
Yeah.
I'm going to meet the love of my life in college. I'm going to get married.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
going to go
Yeah.
to med school and then raise a family through all of that. And that didn't
Oh, wow.
happen. And I'm so glad that it did not happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I will say one thing that this is sort of a pivot, but still on the relationship topic. One thing that I've struggled with since being in New York is making time for myself. And I feel like being in a long distance relationship like kind of eats away at my alone time because I feel some sort of obligation to be like on the phone with my significant other when I have alone time because I'm like, I cannot physically be with this person. And so call time to some degree feels less
Do you talk
like
every day?
quality time. Yeah, we do talk to every day. Feels less like quality time than like in-person time.
Right.
That's
I will say,
I think
I
every
remember my
distance
last long
relationship
distance
suffers that.
relationship.
Yeah.
I remember during our
Yeah.
breakup call, we were just like, why are we calling every day? We didn't need to do that.
wait, what?
I don't know.
For you?
No, cause like we called each other every day out of routine, cause we were just like, oh, it's about time we like ended our day. We're gonna jump on the phone for like an hour or two and call, and then we just like go over what we did during the day. It's like I went to work, I had calls, I had meetings, and then we go to bed. Like yeah, sometimes there'd be interesting, but then we were just like, why? Like we didn't like we could have had our alone time during those evenings. Like we didn't need to update each other every single day. And I don't know, it didn't cross our minds. Like both of us were like, did you want to call every day? I was just like, no, I'd be okay without it. I was like, did you want to call every day? She's like, no, I'd also be okay without it. I'm like, huh, we never talked about this. We kind of just did it out of habit, right? Because I think for the first like 4 or 5 months, we were like, oh, like let's talk every day, because like the relationship was still pretty fresh. But like once we hit that like 10 to 1 year mark, we were just like, oh, 10 months to 1 year mark.
10-year mark.
10 months to 1 year mark, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, patience key.
Yeah, I think I'm a very different person when I'm in a relationship versus when I'm not in a relationship. I think Rachel's the same exact person. She doesn't change.
She is, yeah.
But for me,
I'm glad. That's good.
No,
This
I think
is like a
that's good.
stamp of like validation for me.
I've just learned a lot more about myself while now that I'm like more cognizant of my behaviors post relationship, and then now I know what I'm like in a long-term relationship. I actually I enjoy the daily calls, but I also like my alone time during those calls. So like
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I like just being on the phone with someone knowing that they're there as if they're next to me, but
Yeah.
I want to be doing my own thing.
Yeah.
But then my partner thought it was purposeless to be on the phone if we're not going to be talking to each
Yep.
other.
Yep.
Wait,
And then
Rachel,
that
what camp
causes
are you
some
in?
friction.
Yeah, this is the exact issue that I'm facing right now,
Oh.
actually.
Wait,
It's
Oh,
like
really?
Are you,
I
like-
really like I like coexisting. I don't need to be talking all the
Interesting.
time.
Same.
Yeah, like even in person.
Dang, I'm like both of your partners. I'm like, why are we just coexisting on the phone? Like, we don't need to be on the phone if we're just
Yeah,
coexisting.
because he'll also be like, "Why you want to call again so we can just sit in silence?" And I'd be like,
I'm like,
"Yeah,
yes.
why not?"
I do want that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
'cause
So
it's
you
like-
don't like
Okay,
that, Andrew. Interesting.
No. Oh,
That's
I'm like, I'd rather
interesting.
call
Love that.
twice, 3 times,
Yeah.
maybe 4 times a week. Like, honestly, I think the 3 to 4 times a week in a long distance relationship, part of me is perfect because, yeah, like, we're not calling every single day, but when we do call, there's like things to actually talk about, and there's updates in life. And like, cause when I call like somebody in a relationship, like it's phone, I'm looking at them and we're chatting.
Oh, I almost
Sometimes,
never
I
did
mean,
that.
sometimes if I'm not FaceTiming, I'm like folding laundry or doing like some meaningless task or like.
But your
like-
attention is directed
But
towards
my attention is
the
towards it. Like I'm like
conversation,
yeah.
cleaning, I'm like or doing something, but it's like still conversational.
Yeah, I think when you have those differences, it's really easy to be offended
Oh,
because
wow,
I
that's so
remember being on the
interesting.
phone
Yeah.
and she'll like say something to me, but I wasn't paying attention because I was locked in doing what I was doing before, like either
Yeah.
doing work, and then
That's
I'm
so
like, oh, I'm
interesting.
sorry, I didn't catch that, and they're like, you're not even paying attention to me, like why are we even on
Yep.
the phone?
Yeah, I
I'm
see
just
how
like-
that leads to
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah, that did lead to a lot of problems, and that was just a difference of how we enjoyed company during a long distance
Phone
relationship.
calls, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just
Interesting.
like this is like a mark of what I know is like a really strong friendship also is if we can spend time in silence and
I
just
don't mind spending time in
coexist.
silence in person, but on the phone, it's
What's the
you might
difference?
as well not be there.
No, but it's
It-
so different. I enjoy just knowing that they're there.
Yeah.
Like it's
I like hearing like I like
Interesting. You
knowing
like hearing
what
them
they're
breathing?
doing. Not
no, I like
breathing,
hearing
but
them
it's
doing
like,
work.
Yeah. Like I'll like hearing them like do the
Alright,
dishes,
I could see
doing
that.
laundry, like just going on a walk.
But I
like
don't
that
want
kind
to
of
hear
thing.
the sound of laundry and dishes in my headphones.
But it's like knowing that
Because like in
The person
person, we
is
can be
doing
like
it.
studying together and like have like ambient lo-fi girl music playing in the background. But if I'm listening to you listening to lo-fi through my headphones, I'm like, what is this?
yeah, why?
Yeah, like
Interesting.
I might as well just put it on.
Yeah,
Ah,
I
that's
do notice that
interesting.
with Andrew
is interesting.
because as soon as Andrew and I's conversation dies down and we're doing work, Andrew's like, all right, I'm
peace
gonna
out."
go. Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
bye.
I'm gonna go do work.
Yeah.
I'll call
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
But like when I call Rachel, I can literally be having
Oh,
a conversation
wow, that's
with my
crazy.
roommates, and Rachel will just
Yeah.
stay on the phone with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
As soon as
'Cause,
Jesse
like,
starts talking for
most
like
of the
10, 20
time-
minutes, I'm like, all right, I'm gone. Peace out. I don't
Yes.
want to listen to your
Andrew
conversation.
has hung up with me like a second after I started talking to my roommates.
Okay, not a
Rachel has
second,
Dang.
like 5
Sat
minutes.
through a 2-hour conversation between me and Kevin. It was crazy. Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Like most of the time, if I'm calling you guys and you can't see me, it's because I'm scrolling on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I know that Rachel is doing something else herself. It's not like I don't feel bad because I know her purpose of calling me is the same. It's just like for each other's company to know we're there.
Wow. Wait,
Yeah.
this is so crazy. I didn't know
Yep.
y'all were like
And I
this.
kind of like sitting in on your and your roommates' conversations. Also, I'm just like, hee hee. I'm just
Yeah.
like
when I
like-
hear Jesse talking to his
listening
lab
in.
mates, I'm like, I don't give a sorry. I don't care. And then I hang up. And I'm like, all right, I'll catch you
It's
later.
funny.
I mean, I'm not offended. Like, you go talk to the people. I'm just
Oh,
gonna
I'm
start
not
doing my own
offended
thing.
either because I know
Yeah,
that's how
good.
you are.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm just gonna like play music or listen to something else and do my work.
Rachel just sits through it.
That's crazy.
I feel like I'm there in person.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Because Kevin was like, wait, weren't you talking to someone on the phone? I was like,
Joseph
oh
was
yeah,
like,
my sister's
"She's
still
still
here.
And I go, tell him I say hi.
Kevin and I literally
Oh
talked
my
about
God.
science for almost like 30 minutes to an hour. And Rachel just sat through it in silence the entire time.
That's
Yeah.
nuts. I
Yep.
think the longest I'll sit through Jesse's conversation is 5 minutes before I hang up.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
Wow. So different.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's how we
Interesting.
operate in relationships too. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I almost feel like because with you, there's more of a level of understanding where I'm like, Andrew's just that way. And he's not like, he doesn't owe me his attention. So like he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But then for
Yeah, I'm not
my-
gonna listen to you talk.
But almost, I feel like it's different for my partner. I'm just like,
What?
you need to
If
be
you
here.
if you have a conversation with your roommate Kevin about science, and let's just say your significant other is not a girl of science, you think she should listen through it for the next hour?
I just would
Okay.
appreciate if they're just there, you know? Like they can like turn down
Yeah.
the volume and like do their own thing. Yeah, I can see how that's like
you might as well just hang
annoying.
up and call her back. Oh my
Yeah.
god. All right.
Yeah, I felt kind of
Hey, you
bad
do you,
because
man.
that was like low key what I was doing. yesterday when my friend was shaving her head and I called my partner because I was like, this is crazy. What is happening? And I was just like, I felt like my brain was getting pulled in so many different directions because there were like 5 conversations going on there. Because she had like her friends there and like a couple of other friends on Zoom. And I was holding like 3 different conversations at once. And I had him on the phone. So he was just like really pissed. He was like, why am I even here? Like, you're not even talking to me.
See,
And
I
I'd
would
be like,
understand.
I'm so sorry. I felt so bad afterwards because he was like very upset by it. But I was like, but this was so entertaining for me. Was it not for you?
I mean, if you sent him
Yeah.
pictures and updates, I would be entertained.
I did. I like
Oh.
showed my like camera screen. I was like,
'cause I was
look,
also
and like,
very entertained. I'm not gonna lie about that last
yeah.
night.
Well, you guys got the best part of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I see why he was upset now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, he wasn't upset about that. He was, I don't know. He was just upset that I like my focus, like my attention was not on
Wasn't
him,
on,
like
yeah.
sole. But yeah, yeah.
I mean, I get that. I'm just like, if you're gonna call him, you might as well just call him when you're free with everything. I'm like, why are you
But
calling
that's
me
the
when you're
thing
busy?
is like I didn't know when I was gonna be
Yeah.
free because that ended up taking like
Yeah, that's
3-4
fair.
hours.
I mean, that's when you prioritize, right? Do you just like end this Zoom chat and talk with your significant
I
other,
would
or
have
do you-
missed the end.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, like that's
It was an
depends on
important
what you want
moment.
to. Yeah.
It was
Her friend's life.
quarter life.
I mean,
was
that's what I'm
witnessing
saying,
A
like,
quarter life
maybe-
crisis in the making.
Not to prescribe what you need in your relationship, but I don't know if you need to talk every single day if you're just gonna be coexisting. Maybe you just chat a couple times a week, and
Yeah, I
be
will
more
s-
intentional about it.
I will say
Well,
that
no,
led to
he also likes being called every day. Like he doesn't
Oh.
like not calling every day.
Oh,
Well-
well, he need. Oh, sorry, I'm not gonna say that. Sorry.
What are you gonna say?
I say.
I heard
anything,
him say it.
anything. I say anything.
I feel like there is you can adapt. I think personalities are somewhat fluid and plastic. Like you can change. Like this is a small thing to change. I think you can schedule a time where you're devoting your full attention to that person. But for me,
Yeah.
I actually prefer just sitting and doing
Coexisting.
our own things and coexisting over talking directly to each other. Because I
I
don't
mean, that's a compatibility aspect.
I agree.
know, but like at a certain point in your relationship where your day to day,
I don't mind doing that in person. I do not mind. Let me get this straight. If we're in person, I don't mind us just being in the same room doing our own thing, not talking
What's
to
the
each other.
difference between that and being on the
Yeah.
phone?
I
Because on
agree.
the phone, I can't see you. It's the physical presence. It
FaceTime.
makes it different.
Yeah.
Ah, okay,
Though? It
maybe.
feels the same
but
to me, honestly.
Me too.
No, it doesn't feel the same to me. Like in person, we can both be in a room, silence, studying, doing our own thing, but definitely not on a call. FaceTime maybe a little bit because it's a little bit closer. Like if my partner wanted to be on FaceTime and just coexist, I'd coexist with her, right? But it would not be my intent to do that.
Yeah.
Or my go-to way of spending quality time.
Would you take it the wrong way though if they weren't talking to you or like they missed something you said? Like would you be offended that they weren't devoting their attention to you and they were doing their own thing?
Oh, that's happened. I don't care about that, to be
Okay.
honest.
Yeah, the conflict
but, like,
arises when they start taking offense
Yeah.
to you not paying attention to them.
Although I do see it as confused because, like, I guess this has never happened to me because when I was doing long distance, it was all very dedicated calling time. And then as soon as we were done talking, we were like, okay, we're going to go do our own things. But no, there has been a couple.
Rachel, I
Would
have a
take
question
offense? Hold
actually.
up. I don't know. Ask Rachel the question. I don't know my answer to that. I don't think I'd be offended, but it's also never happened.
Do you have a hard time hanging up on calls?
Oh yeah. I always make him do
Same.
it.
Same,
Crazy.
same. I don't
I'm
know
like,
how to
"Peace
cut
out."
the conversation because I just
Yeah.
want to continue coexisting.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have been in a relationship where someone else also enjoyed coexisting, and we would just fall asleep on the phone all the time together.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
like that a lot. I like
Yeah,
waking up the next
yeah.
morning and being like, oh, you're still here. Like, we can pick up the
Oh,
conversation
hey.
literally in the morning. I think it's the cutest
Y'all
thing.
are weird as hell.
Yeah. Well, what happens for me is because we're in different time zones, I just fall asleep significantly earlier than he does.
Mhm.
But I'll just be like, okay, good night.
And then
Bye.
no one hangs up.
And then he's like, so did you want to go to sleep now? I'm like, yeah.
But we can stay on the phone.
Yeah. And then he'll like hang up like after I've fallen asleep.
Oh.
Interesting.
I sometimes take offense to that, or not take offense, but I'll feel
Really?
bad
Well-
if they hang up on me without telling me. I'd be like,
Well, I'm
I won't-
asleep.
yeah, but I won't be like, sometimes I remember this was in high school. I'd be looking forward to like waking up and them still being on the phone. And sometimes I would even enjoy being woken up by them like getting up to use the restroom in the middle of the night. I would be like, oh, we're still on the phone together. Damn, I'm being an
That's so
absolute
funny.
cornball right now. But
Wow, damn, I can't believe you
this
did
was
that.
high school,
Cornball.
Jesse. I've never
That's
done
crazy.
this
That's cute as
recently,
fuck,
but in
that's-
high school, I remember just like
Wow.
calling, staying on the phone.
I know you
Yeah.
were going.
Like,
I actually didn't know that you were doing that. I remember
Honestly,
that.
the
That's
only
true.
person that I've fallen asleep on the phone with and then woken up and still been on the phone with is my best friend.
your friend, yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that.
I
I
don't
like
think
distinctly
I've ever
remember one
fallen
night.
as-
Yeah.
It is cute though, because I have had partners fall asleep on the phone as we're talking, because we're talking like super late into the night, and
Uh-huh.
it is really cute to like hear them like just
Yeah,
breathing on the other side. And I'll say
Yes.
goodnight to them, and then I'll hang up though. I'm not gonna fall asleep.
Bye,
I'm
bitch.
like,
yeah, I don't need to be hearing this all night.
yeah, I don't need to be hearing this all night.
Yeah.
But like hearing them lull off to sleep, I'm like, this is cute. And then I'm like, all right, peace out. I'm gone.
Dude, it's so funny because a lot of those phone calls that I'm talking about happen in the room you're in right now, Andrew. Because
I know.
I know that
remember that.
because
I
Andrew and I
remember this.
shared a room.
That's
I'd be like,
so
oh, I'm gonna stay on the
funny.
phone with
Yep.
this girl, and then go to the
And
guest
I'd wake
room
up and I'm
sleep
like,
there.
Jesse's not here. Jesse be talking to
Yeah.
that girl.
Yep.
That's so funny.
Man, I can't. I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
those high
remember that
school
too.
days.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I never had moments like that. Fuck.
Yeah. All right, brief intermission. We're gonna talk about Coffee Meets Bagel.
Find it your
Yay,
wife.
our favorite sponsor.
So, Andrew, hypothetically speaking, if you were single, wouldn't you want to maximize your chances of potentially finding someone that you're very compatible with?
I would like that.
Wouldn't
Interesting.
it like realistically make sense for you, Jesse? Because it's like you live in Cleveland. Isn't your whole dating problem right now in Cleveland that there's just people who don't have the same cultural values and cultural outlooks on life?
Mm.
But wouldn't you want to maximize the chances of finding someone who holds these values and similar backgrounds as you?
Yeah,
A
no,
great
you're right. I would like
place
that.
to do that?
Yeah.
Coffee Meets Bagel.
That's actually, you know what? That's actually a way better way of thinking about it because I am the one who's struggling to maximize my probability.
Yeah,
Not Andrew.
you are.
Doing just fine out here.
Yeah.
Not really. Huh?
Yeah, no, that's true. I think in my dating life, a lot of the reason why I don't really pursue dating is because the dating pool that I think I have access to is not necessarily people that I align with or they don't align with me. It would be an idealistic world if I could find a dating pool where the people have aligned with me, culturally speaking, value-wise, and maybe even attraction-wise as well. And as an Asian American, I think it's quite hard to find in the Midwest. There's a really great app out there called Coffee Meets Bagel where it maximizes the likelihood or probability of people like me and you, Andrew, Asian American men, finding
Very
someone
good.
that they're potentially very compatible with. So Coffee Meets Bagel pulled some stats from their app, and they found that actually the total likes sent to men by women on Coffee Meets Bagel, 45.6% of likes go to AAPI men, which is kind of a mind-boggling stat having grown up in the Midwest. If you break down the women on the app by ethnicity, who are these women giving their likes to? AAPI men rank first for AAPI women, rank first for black women, rank second for Latino women, and rank second for white women, compared to other apps where AAPI men rank near the lower end or last. So it's just a dating app where you yeah, it's still a problem, but I think an app like Coffee Meets Bagel pushes the bounds for AAPI men, and I think it's a great dating pool for AAPI men who are looking for serious relationships, because Coffee Meets Bagel is a dating app for serious daters.
Or maybe for women, if you're looking for a quality pool of Asian men, maybe Coffee Meets Bagel just has a lot of them.
True.
That could be it.
Yeah, so check out Coffee Meets Bagel. It's a great dating app. They have a great user interface, and especially as an Asian American man, it's an app where you can have more confidence in yourself and more confidence in your ability to potentially match with someone that you're compatible with. Yeah.
Download Coffee Meets Bagel now to find Jesse on it.
Or Andrew.
Yay. But not Rachel.
Not Rachel. Hopefully not Rachel. If you find Rachel, that's a fake person.
That's a catfish.
Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap up this podcast?
It's so hot. I need to just...
We've also been doing this for an hour and 43 minutes.
Dude, I need to leave this room. It is
also at an hour
furnace in here.
Dude,
it's like
something
80
about...
degrees in this house.
Yeah, Mom.
Yeah.
Classic.
Well, Mom just never
Turns on the AC.
turns on the
Uses
AC.
air.
Yeah.
Sweating.
Well, open the windows. It's probably not that hot outside.
The window
Yeah.
was open. It was 90 degrees,
Oh.
94 degrees out today.
Oh.
Humid and rainy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
How's your finger doing, Andrew? It's getting better?
It's not moving. No, it stopped getting better, but it's okay. It's okay.
When's your next x-ray?
19th. Well, the bone.
Hey,
I
that
think
looks
is
pretty
over
good.
though. No, like the top joint doesn't bend. Like I can't move this guy. Like yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Any case, thank you, friends and family, for joining us on this week's episode of the Rooftop Pod. I'm your host, Jesse, and signing out with me is my brother,
Andrew,
and my sister.
Rachel.
And we all hope that the next time we're on a podcast together, we'll all be together in person, and Rachel will be not sick anymore, and we'll all be in New York, and we're going to have a super fun time.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess that doesn't really
Yeah.
give you that much time for recovery, but...
Yeah. Well, I'll have my meds, so at least I hope I'm not coughing anymore.
Yeah.
But it
we'll
seems
see.
like, I mean, you did a pretty good job despite your bronchitis.
When are we hanging out?
Thank you.
Sunday?
Are we
Friday?
going out?
Oh, Saturday.
Yeah, let's do
night?
it. Let's do Saturday night. Let's
Saturday.
do something.
Wait, where are we going out? Can we not go out in
We're not gonna go out to
Yes,
K-Town.
we're not
I'm
going.
Oh,
to K-Town.
thank God.
Dude,
There-
ask Nick to DJ, man. That's the only, like, the most fun I've had this entire year was going out to Jeans.
He's not
Nick
going to be in
DJ.
New York yet, is he? I don't think he is.
He's playing in LA that weekend
Ah, shoot, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Dang it. Curses.
with
Sad.
DJ Mandy.
Curses.
Oh, yeah, true.
So
All right,
if
guys.
you're in the LA area,
All right, let's sign
Go.
out.
Let's
Oh,
go
we
see
sign
already
Nick
out.
signed out.
Chan.
Or
Peace.
peace,
We already
guys.
did.
Peace.
Peace.
All right.
Peace.
All right.
Peace. Peace. We're
Killing it.
leaving.
Until next time, peace.
We're leaving. We're leaving. We're leaving. Bye.